Hi, this is Stan. Welcome back to the Crow's Nest Railroad. Well, I have a confession to make. I am a drill bit abuser, but I'm trying to change my ways. Well, we're not going to run trains today. We've had days and days of rain, which is very unusual in the desert here. Take a look. Pouring rain here on the Crow's Nest Railroad. No trains today. No trains this weekend. We've got some post-hurricane weather that came up from the western coast of Mexico. And we do actually get water under the bridge once in a while here. The dog doesn't like it. It's not a water dog. Got our own little Crow's Nest lake going here. Look at this rain gauge. And it's not done yet. And so, we'll spend some time in the shop. Now, I have to admit, I've never sharpened a drill bit in my life. And what I do is, I just buy these at the hardware store, and when I lose the bits, or when I snap them in two, or when they get too dull to cut, I just toss them into a bin somewhere and buy a whole nother set. So, old guys can change their ways too. So, introducing the Drill Doctor. So let's take a look at this thing, okay? Alright, pretty simple piece of kit. Why am I even bringing this up? Well, I've got this new locomotive project I'm working on, and I'm going to have to be drilling a lot of holes in some metal parts. And I just want to make sure that I've got the best drill bits I can for the job, that they're sharp enough to get the work done, so I don't have to stop in the middle and go get something else. So anyway, let's take a look. I got a little flashlight here. Let me shine it in there, and you can see that wheel. That's the grinding wheel. And then this little collar mechanism that holds the drill bits. So how this works is there's two cams on here that change the position of this, creates a little bit of a wobble, and there's two little fingers on here that align themselves with the actual drill bit. So, of course I'm not sponsored in any way. My channel is not big enough to have any sponsors, but so I buy all this with my own money. And I'm just hoping that this will make my job a little easier, so I don't have to run out and replace a drill bit in the middle of a project. So I never really paid attention that much to my drill bits. As it turns out, most of the bits that I buy are regular hardware store type drill bits, and apparently this is a fixed angle at about 118 degrees, and that's pretty standard. I really never thought about anything like that. Let me draw a line here with the protractor. And so let's mark off about 118. I think that's pretty close. I'm not going to go into super detail there. Okay, so right there. And we'll take the drill bit. So there's at about 118 degrees. And you can see how the bit fits right up in there. And that's the little angle on the tip. And I guess machinists use something slightly different, professional machinists. But for the average guy, we just buy our bits at the hardware store. They're going to be that 118 degrees. And so that's what this gizmo is set up for, that 118 degrees. The one thing it does, however, in addition to regular bits like this, is it does a masonry bit. So that's pretty cool. So let's set a bit up in this thing, And you can see, I'll demonstrate how it works, and we'll take a look and see the before and after on the bit. So I just picked an old bit out of my little bad bucket there. And you slip it in there, it's got little jaws on there. And these little metal fingers align themselves so the drill bit fits in the right place. So I'm going to leave it a little long. They want about a ½ an inch. And I'm going to put it in and shove it down, and that hopefully aligned itself so we've got the right depth. Once that's the right depth, then we can go ahead and tighten up that collar. And so we have that ½ inch depth. If this is too stubby, it never really comes into contact with the wheel. And of course, if it's too long, then this collar doesn't fit well and the cams won't work right. So again, this drill bit aligns itself. You leave it just a hair long, drop it in, and tighten it down. And there's little markings. There's a 2 and a 1 and a couple of triangles. The little triangles are where it actually does the work on the grinding wheel. So what it has to do, not only it has to sharpen the cutting edge, but it has to back off that heel or the back side of the drill bit so that when it cuts a chip, the chip can be removed. So let's crank this up. I've got this old drill bit. See if you can see the tip on that drill bit. This is like the before picture. See if I can rotate this around. And let's put it to work. You hold the cam up against this piece here. Now it's back off. Depending on how bad the bit is, you have to do more and more turns. Let's just take a look at it. So you could see every time the little triangle comes around against the cam, that's when it does the cutting. And you'll notice that the two cams in there make it wobble a little bit, and that gives you that rounded back and front surface. Let me zoom the camera in. Okay, this is after. Well, that was pretty easy, wasn't it? I mean, that would only take a minute to stop and do that. And that feels nice and sharp. All right, well, there you have it, the Drill Doctor. Now, it says in the directions to just let the weight of the drill bit go when you're in the machine, but I gotta be honest, I push on it just a little bit and kind of give it a twist. And you kind of have to hold it against that cam so you get that rocking, grinding motion going. Now, I'll get some more experience with this, and down the line, when I've had this for a while, I'll kind of review it again really quickly. But if you guys have some experience with the Drill Doctor, let me know what you think. I've read some stuff online. Some people hated it, some people loved it. So far, I have to give it an A for my simpleton use here. So, and I have to drill a lot of metal on this locomotive project. So hopefully that was helpful if you've never seen a Drill Doctor before and never cared too much about your drill bits like me. I'm a drill bit neglector. Sorry about that. I'm trying to change my ways. We'll see you right here next time on the Crow's Nest Rhythm.
Thank you. Good night.